Bunyips Don't, by Sally Odgers, illustrated by Kim Gamble. Young Bunyip lived with Old Bunyip in the dankest part of the creek. It was cold and not much fun. "Why can't we live on the sunny side of the creek?" asked young Bunyip. "Because we're Bunyips, fathead," said Old Bunyip, "and Bunyips don't." Young Bunyip sighed. He was very lonely. "Why don't we make some friends?" he asked. Old Bunyip laughed like water gurgling down a pipe. "Bunyips don't." "Why?" "Because they're Bunyips, hammer-nose, and that's that." Young Bunyip sat on the sunny side of the creek and listened to the wattlebirds. "What are you doing?" he asked them. "Singing," said the wattlebirds. Young Bunyip liked the sound, and when the sun set, he sang too. Old Bunyip surfaced with a snort and a hiss like water boiling over. "What do you think you're doing?" "I think I'm singing," said young Bunyip humbly. "Well, think again, buckethead," said Old Bunyip. "Bunyips don't." "Why?" "Because they're Bunyips, bark brain." Young Bunyip was disappointed, but he didn't sing any more. Instead, he sat on the sunny side of the creek and watched the Brolgas dancing. "What are you doing?" he asked. "We're dancing," said the Brolgas. Young Bunyip liked their graceful movements, and when the sun set, he tried dancing too. Old Bunyip clambered up from the creek with a gulp and a suck, like a boot being pulled from the mud. "What are you doing?" "I'm dancing," said young Bunyip. "Well, don't," snapped Old Bunyip. "Why not?" "Because Bunyips don't." "Why?" Why? Old Bunyip rolled his eyes and flung his paws towards the dark sky. "Because they're Bunyips, tatty ears, that's why." And he flopped back into the creek like a soggy old log. "Oh," said young Bunyip. "Oh dear." It seemed that Bunyips never had any fun just because they were Bunyips. The next day young Bunyip sat on the sunny side of the creek and watched some children playing. They laughed and sang and ate coloured cake as well. "What are you doing?" young Bunyip asked. The children stared. "We're having a birthday party." "What's that?" "Well," said the children, "it's where you invite your friends to eat cakes and sing and dance and have fun. You can come if you like." Young Bunyip went back to the dankest part of the creek. "Old Bunyip," he called. Old Bunyip heaved up from the water with a sloppy pop, like a giant cork coming out of a bottle. "What?" "I suppose," said young Bunyip, "the Bunyips don't have birthday parties." "You suppose right for once, mud-eye," said Old Bunyip. "They don't." And he clambered further up the bank and began to wallow away. "Where are you going?" cried young Bunyip. "To find another creek," said Old Bunyip. "Now that you've finally learned how to be a proper Bunyip." And he crawled out of sight. Young Bunyip went back to the birthday party. The children cut him some cake and gave him a paper hat. After that, young Bunyip sang the wattlebird song and danced the Brolga dance. Then the children taught him some games. It was the best fun the Bunyip had ever had. "When's your birthday?" asked the children. "Bunyips don't have birthdays. Old Bunyip says so." The children laughed. "Everyone has birthdays." Young Bunyip thought for a while. "Then I'll have mine next week." "Where are you going?" the children asked. "To move my house to the sunny side of the creek," said young Bunyip. "Because if Old Bunyip was wrong about the birthdays, he was probably wrong about the rest too." The end.